So day 2 here. The water is a lot choppier. Look at that. The boat is definitely swaying around. So we're kind of being thrown around. Oh look, we got, is that a Carnival ship over there maybe? That's a Norwegian Encore. Look at that thing. I love the colors on it. But yeah, all the land is gone. We are definitely out in the middle of the ocean right now, on our way to Alaska. So day 2, then we started up in the Ocean View Cafe, which is the buffet, and excellent breakfast. I'd have to say the best food on that buffet is the breakfast food. Mm-hmm. So we did that, and then we went to the Cafe El Baccio.
Which we went to a lot.
Yeah, you could just kind of hang around out there and have coffee.
Cafe lattes, we can have cappuccinos, cafe mocha.
They have like little snacks and treats that you can get, little cheesecake, and what were those little chocolate eclairs?
And those little sandwiches.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those little things.
Little things like that. And the whole, it's all a big wall of windows. I mean, everywhere you go on the ship, it's a big wall of windows. But you just sit in there, big wall of windows on one side, and there was like, people were pointing out whales out there and stuff. Not very often, but they were there. And then on the opposite side, you're looking down into the Grand Plaza where there's always something going on. So it's just a really fun place to sit.
And you can watch the bartenders throwing their bottles around. And
like juggling everything.
And then there's always the casino.
Yeah, so we spent some more time in the casino. And I gotta say, one thing that irritates me so bad is when we're playing blackjack and the dealer starts telling me how to play, telling me that I should be hitting on this, I shouldn't be hitting on that, and that just really irritates me. This guy was doing that to me, and he was like insistent that I double on this one hand, that I'm just like thinking I would never do that. But just to get him to shut up, I went ahead and did it, and I lost my money. He just proved me right there, and I even said, that's why I don't listen to you. So I quit playing, and I let her play. I wasn't giving that guy any more of my money.
All right, we went to see Beyond the Podium with Samantha Olsen, and she is, what is that? What's her?
Oceanographer or something like that.
She's got a big, long technical name.
Yeah.
Anyway, she told us all about the different whales out there. She was interesting to a point.
It was interesting, but she only had pictures up on the screen. This was in the theater, and you have this enormous wraparound screen. And, I mean, she had a lot of things to say. She was very informational, but she only showed you pictures.
Yeah, no videos.
So it was very boring. There was a lot of people falling asleep in there, and I feel bad to say that. But yeah, it could have been a much better show, but it seemed like it was really long, a lot of people falling asleep in there. So that was the first thing we saw in the theater that day, and then later on we saw was the Welcome Aboard with Captain Costas, where he just came out and he talked for, maybe 5 minutes or something, welcomed us aboard, and then it was followed up with Celebrity Showtime, Kaleidoscope with your production cast, and that was a really good show. And that is like the whole cast of singers and dancers, and they were singing and they were dancing, and they have like the acrobats. There are 2 guys and a girl who were the acrobat, and this wire comes down out of the ceiling and they hook onto it and they're spinning around and flipping around. And it was a really, really good show. When you're on a cruise like this, like really when you're making a video like this, you should be filming at the end of each day to recap what happened, because there's so much going on, so many places you're going and doing things. There's just so much going on you forget.
Right.
Look at this, we got Carnival driving right by us right here. And this is the party ship right here. This is the one that you hear about where there's all the brawls and the fighting and the craziness. That's Carnival. No, thank you. All right, day 3, we have arrived in Alaska. And look at this view. This is what we woke up to this morning. We're in Ketchikan. Look at that. We got the Carnival ship over there. If you can see farther down the way, there's more ships that are docked behind us. Gonna be lots of cruises here today. But look at this, look at those mountains. That is unbelievable. And the little houses over here, look at that. That is so cool.
We have breakfast coming between 7 and 7:30. And then we are going to Ketchikan for the, oh my God, don't tell me, I know what they are. The Axe Guys. Lumberjack show. The Lumberjack show. And then we're gonna just tour around Ketchikan and buy some stuff and eat.
So our guy just came and delivered our breakfast here. We got our little setup over here where we're gonna have breakfast and watch everything awesome out that window. We got our coffee over here. And then look at this. We've got fruit. Yum, check that out. Look at that tiny bundle of grapes. That is too funny.
Croissant.
Yum. What is that? Oh, that's the pineapple. Look at that. That's actually a nice amount of chunky pineapple. Yum. And then we got orange juice here. Anything I'm missing? So day 3, port day. We arrived in Alaska in Ketchikan. So we went to the Lumberjacks show. It was a good show. We used to go to this restaurant, or a couple times we went to this restaurant called the Lumberjacks in California, and maybe even in Oregon. And on the TVs, they have actual lumberjack shows where these guys are doing challenges. They're sawing wood and chopping wood and doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, and really fun. And I've seen those on TV. This was sort of like that. It was basically a scripted version of a lumberjack show. It was really fun. The guys were really funny. They were throwing axes, they were cutting wood, they were chopping wood, they were running on the water.
Big thing.
Yeah, climbing the big trees. And it was supposed to be a challenge between the two sides, but you could tell that it was scripted because they were just kind of taking their time doing what they were doing. But it was a good show. It was a fun show. What was the name of the place we went to eat our lunch?
Crab and Go.
Crab and Go, because she really wanted some crab.
King crab.
And it was, I mean, it was like, what, $100?
Yeah.
$100 for the king crab?
Just my meal.
Yeah, but it was a giant piece.
Oh, it was huge. I mean, you'll see the picture of it. It was huge. So easy to break it and get the meat out. Oh, so good. And it had New England style clam chowder to go with it. And it was so much that I couldn't finish the soup.
And I'm not a crab person, really. I'm not really a big seafood person. I love fish. And they had a beer battered halibut or haddock? Halibut, beer battered halibut. And it was delicious too. That was like $26 or something like that. In the end, we paid about $200 for our lunch, and it was delicious. I loved mine, she loved hers, and it was great. Then we just walked around. It was just, like any port, it's a bunch of touristy stores and things like that. But it was fun to be there.
I was looking so hard for Alaskan-made products. But apparently, in that touristy area, you're not going to find it unless you go off the beaten path, and we didn't do that. So I didn't buy this is the only shirt I bought, and we'll get to that later. But this is not made in Alaska either, and it saddened me because I really wanted to support the local people. But
and that's tough to do at these ports because
it really
it's.
is.
Like I said, it's just all tourist stores. So that, I believe, was the extent of day 3. When you go on one of those the port days, it's pretty exhausting because you're doing a lot of walking, and so you're pretty exhausted when you come back. Now, we may have done something else that day. We probably went out to dinner later on, but I think go ahead.
We have added up to about 10,000 steps a day here.
Yeah, easy.
Very easy. And we felt it too.
Yeah. So going into day 4 then, we're pulling into Endicott Farm, and we got to see Dawes Glacier.
It was just amazing. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I told him that we were going to go to the tram. What was it called again?
Terrifying Death Trap is what it was called.